Welcome to A Leader's Journey, the podcast for leaders who deeply believe there is a better way to lead and desire to create their unique journey towards becoming a legacy leader. I'm your host, Shannon Hammond. Over the last 20 years as a corporate leader and leadership performance coach, I've learned that many leaders believe there is a predefined path they have to follow and struggle leaning into their unique gifts that will create lasting impact and fulfillment. They end up feeling stuck, unhappy, and unfulfilled in the day-to-day of their role, and are challenged with why, since they have experienced success in their career and in life. I'm here to help leaders think through their leadership journey, learn how to ask themselves better questions, and learn the formula to create their leadership journey by design. If you are ready to design your unique leadership journey, lead with confidence, and love the teams you lead, then you are in the right place. Let's do this. Hello, my friends and fellow leaders. I'm glad to have you back here with me this week on the podcast. And as always, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am so happy that you are here. I know that your time is valuable, and I really appreciate that you have chosen to spend some of it here with me today. I'm going to dive right into today's episode, and I'm going to start off with a question that I have for you. When I ask it, the majority of you are probably going to squirm or sigh, and some of you will take a pause and really think about the answer. Either way, I encourage you that whatever your initial reaction is, come back to the question and really contemplate it. I'll share it at the end of the episode as well, although I have a feeling you won't forget it. And I know that this is a question that I have been contemplating for myself a lot lately, as I am facing a lot of different things that are coming up in my life and in my leadership. So here's the question that I want you to be able to think about. And that is, what is your current relationship with change? Now, when you heard the word change, does your stomach start to churn? Your anxiety kick up? Your heart starts to race? And do you immediately go to that low place of energy? Or do you get excited, feel like there is a challenge coming on that you are ready to tackle? Maybe you anticipated that was coming, or maybe you feel neutral, that you can take it or leave it when it comes to change, and it's not really draining on your energy. No matter how you feel, it is right for you and where it is that you are at right now. And that's why I want you to really contemplate that question. And let's dive into some more content in this episode, and let's really talk about change and our relationship with change. Your relationship with change is probably one of the most critical relationships that you will ever have in your life and your leadership, outside of the relationship that you have with yourself. Change is everywhere. Change is constant. Change is what makes everything in life happen. How we think, how we feel, and what we believe about change is going to impact so much for us. As leaders, we need to stay ahead of change. We need to move faster. We need to be prepared. And as John Maxwell says, and I really love this, he says that we need to see more and before others. We can't drag our feet or take too long in making decisions and adapting to change. We need to assess the situation, make a change, reassess the situation, change again if necessary, and continue changing. If we don't, we will get left behind. And so will our team and our organizations. And that's not something I know that we as high achieving leaders desire. Leaders need to embrace the quality of adaptability. Study it and build your muscles around it. Now, adaptability, it is that ability to change or be changed to fit new circumstances. Now, to say this is crucial for leaders really is an understatement, especially with where we are in the world and the evolution of work. Leaders, and quite honestly, everyone needs to continually learn, unlearn, relearn, and repeat. We need to embrace change because it's here to stay. It always has been, it always will be. That kind of makes me think of the David Bowie song, Ch-ch-ch-changes, turn and face the strange, ch-ch-changes. Okay, I'm not going to sing. It's not really my thing. But you get the point with what that is. That's the first thing. Every time I hear change, that's what comes to mind for me. Now, John Maxwell wrote a book called Leadership that I have read here recently. And in that book, he discusses essential changes that every leader must embrace. If you haven't read it or heard of it, add it to your book list, and I encourage you to read it now. It really is relevant to where we are in leadership and some of the things that we are going to be facing over the next couple months and year ahead. You'll thank me later, I promise. So add it to your list, pick it up, and start reading it. Now, in that book, he defines leadership as an ability and willingness to make a leadership change that will positively enhance organizational and personal growth. Wow. To tell you that I absolutely love that is just not giving it justice. When I read that, it lit a fire in me. I took to my journal. I made tons of notes and reflections, questions that I wanted to contemplate, thoughts that I wanted to share with others. And then I wondered, why hadn't I read this book when I bought it 4 years ago when it came out? And then I realized that I'm grateful now that I didn't, because I don't know that the me of 4 years ago would have been as passionate about it as I am now. People don't naturally resist change. We experience changes all the time. And if you look back, you'll recognize some of them for yourself. We find new jobs, we move homes, or even states or countries. We buy new cars, we try new foods, we take on new tasks at work. All of that is change. And with all of it, in most instances, we decided to make that change. What people truly resist is being changed when it's not their choice to do so. No one likes being told what to do, or that they need to change what they are doing or who they're being. And I'll be the first to admit it, it's totally me. Now, I'm pretty neutral about change. I can take it or leave it, but I am all bought into a change when it is my idea. Now, it's also the transition through the change that gives people the most anxiety and stress around change. If you really think about it, when you get promoted, you are excited about the new opportunity, a new team, new things to learn, and you're moving forward in your leadership journey. Now, getting there, that's another story. You have things to wrap up in your current role. You probably have processes you need to document and tasks that you just did without even thinking about it. So now you need to write them down so your successor knows what they need to be doing. You have outstanding issues that you need to resolve and get everything wrapped up in your current role, right? There's probably conversations that you have to have with your teammates, your leaders, and other partners as you're working through that transition into your new role. Then you get into your new role, and as you are getting settled in, now you're learning your new team, your new tasks and responsibilities. You're having to figure out your calendar because all your meetings and different things that you had, they've all changed. You got to go through training. You may even have to incorporate travel into it if that's an aspect of your job. There's all of these things that are going to be coming up. All of that is change, and it can be stressful. Everyone just wants to get to the point when they get promoted that they feel like they know what they're doing in their new role and they could just do it. That's totally normal. And you'll get there eventually. And only if you go through that transition period. So avoiding the transition period it's what keeps a lot of people in their current role for extended periods or resisting other change because they don't want to go through that stress of that transition. They just want the end result, right? We know where we're at. I look at that a lot with health. Maybe I'm overweight and I need to lose 20 pounds. I just want to snap my fingers and tomorrow I'll be 20 pounds lighter, but it doesn't work that way. We have to go through the transition. That is part of our journey. It's part of our journey as people and it's part of our journey as leaders. When new leaders get into their roles, they see all the possibilities too, and they want to leverage their passions and ideas to make changes within their team. And some of the changes that they want to implement, they're probably necessary. Their intentions are in the right place to bring about positive change and inspire the people that they influence now. They want the best for their new team and for their organization. Here's where the problem comes in. Before you can change anything around you, you need to change inside of you first. You also need to make sure that you are clear and have a healthy relationship with change. If you jump too quickly without having done the work yourself, the changes you want to make, they're not going to go as well as you planned, or they may not be very well received. You will also not be as prepared as you need to be, and you won't make the best decisions. When you have a healthy relationship with change, it's easier for you to navigate and lead any changes that come up. It will also help you in supporting your team and impacting their relationship and response to changes that occur. There are big changes that you will inevitably face as leaders. You're going to hire new team members, you're going to lose team members, you're going to move team members between leaders. There's going to be policy and procedure changes. Depending on your type of work, there's regulation changes that are going to be forced on you that you're going to have to figure out how you're going to navigate. There's economy changes, there's weather events that come up that shift everything that you may have planned that day or week. Meetings get moved, new meetings come onto your calendar. I could go on and on. The gist of all of it is that change is always going to be there, so you need to be ready. Don't get caught off guard and be ready to pivot. I can think back to one change that we implemented a couple years ago that didn't go well. And as a leadership team, we felt like we had planned appropriately, and it was my task to communicate that to our team during a team meeting. This was a change that needed to be made. Part of it came down from higher levels of leadership within the organization. And at the end of the day, it really was the right thing to do for where we were at in our business and what we needed to do to support our clients. Unfortunately, in the team meeting that I was to share this in, we were running late. And so I announced the change in the last 5 minutes of the meeting. And to say it didn't go well is really an understatement. There were tears, looks of shock, lack of understanding, and a ton of questions that our team members had that we didn't have time to answer. Now, to me, this change wasn't that big of a deal because it was something that I was already used to and something that we were doing within our team and across the organization in other ways. But implementing it in this specific instance was going to be a change for our team. But I didn't anticipate that type of reaction. Right? Again, for myself and my relationship with change, take it or leave it. It is what it is. Just do it and we'll see what happens as we go through it, right? In hindsight and looking back, I can see that my relationship with change is what led to me announcing that change at that time. Because to me, again, it wasn't that big of a deal. And in that moment, I didn't think that it would be to the team. Had I taken a pause and I really understood and connected with my relationship with change, as well as my team's relationship with change, I would have made a different decision. I wouldn't have announced it in that team meeting. I would have scheduled additional time for us to do that. I would have given more time for that conversation, more time for it to really set in with the team and to ask them their questions. Since then, we did an exercise with our team where we really looked to understand what is everybody's relationship and how do they view change. And for me, again, I'm that person who's very neutral. Take it or leave it. Let's just do it. Really, the biggest thing for me is, can we just write it down so we all have something to reference back to so we know what change we made? And literally everybody else but one person in the team was at the complete opposite end of the spectrum, to where they were more conservative with change. They weren't big risk takers. They needed more time for change to set in, to think it through, to have time for it to really understand what it is and to be able to talk it through. Had I known then what I know now, and I'd done the work on myself at that point to really understand my relationship with change, that could have gone a lot better. Now, here's a question that I have for you. So did you know what most people's number one challenge is when it comes to making positive changes? It's their feelings. They want to change, but they don't know how to get past their emotions. And if you're willing to change your thinking, you can change your feelings. If you change your feelings, you can change your actions, and changing your actions based on good thinking can change your leadership in your life and really create a meaningful relationship with change. Now, in the situation that I shared, it was all about the feelings. Now that we're a few years into that change, the feelings around it have completely shifted from that one moment in time. The team enjoys it, and they see tremendous value in what it is that we are doing and how it has added to the relationship that we have with our clients and the value that our clients see in our partnership with them. It's made that task on my team more personal and created greater connections with our clients and their employees. And again, had I been aware of my thinking and their thinking, I could have changed the feelings and the actions that came up on that particular day. Now, Babe Ruth stated, "Yesterday's home run doesn't win today's games." So where are you hanging on to yesterday's home run? Where are you hesitating to make a change that you know is necessary? Where are you hanging on to something that no longer serves you? Where do you need to make, as John Maxwell calls it, a leader shift? Change is essential for growth. You can make a choice to change today. You can make a choice to change your relationship with change. So I'm going to ask you again the question that I started this podcast episode out with, and that is, what is your relationship with change? Now, I do want to share a few more questions for you to contemplate as it relates to change, to help you get clear on your true relationship with change. So what changes do you need to make right now that you've been unwilling to make? What is holding you back from achieving your personal and or professional goals? What change do you need to make in yourself that will lead to positive change in the people around you? When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And that's a quote from Viktor Frankl. There are going to be a lot of situations that you cannot change as a leader. So taking time to invest in your relationship with change will help you and your team better navigate the waters of change. They are coming, and it's best that we are always prepared and we understand what that looks like for us and the people around us. So that's our episode today. I appreciate you tuning in again this week and continuing to spend some of your time with me. I hope that you found this episode valuable and impactful, and that you're really going to take the time to contemplate and reflect on your relationship with change. Until next time, my fellow leaders, lead with confidence and show up every day as the leader that you are striving to be. Thanks for listening to A Leader's Journey podcast. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're excited to learn more, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in next week for another exciting leadership lesson. I'd love to help you level up your leadership, achieve the goals you desire, and design your unique leadership journey. So click the link in the show notes to schedule a free Level Up Your Leadership session. During this time, we will define where you are in several key areas of leadership, where you desire to be, and how you can level up your leadership. You don't need to do this alone, so let's chat today and get your journey started. Don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn or in the A Leader's Journey community on Facebook, and share this episode with another leader so we can all learn and grow together. That's all for this episode, and I'll see you next week. Until then, lead with confidence, show up every day as the leader you are striving to be, and make the decision today to level up your leadership this year.